Hey guys, I'm calling in from Boise, Idaho. I'm here for a week, then back to California. But it's really beautiful weather. It's really green and nice out here. But yeah, I think I'm just going to ramble today about something that's been on my mind and see if anyone, I don't know, just putting it out there in the world to think about. But basically, I don't know that I see that much talked about with regards to hosting people, hosting burnout, where I had this big burst of energy to host parties and picnics and gatherings and book clubs and whatnot, and it was fulfilling because I value community and I value making spaces for people to come together and connect and whatnot. But hosting is hard and also a host is sort of taking on social vulnerability and exposure, social risk, by hosting a party. And I feel like guests don't honor that enough. So I think sometimes I talk about guest mindset versus hosting mindset, and it feels parallel to creator mindset versus consumer mindset, where it's when you enter a space, enter an event, I feel like I used to be this vibe sucks, I'm out of here kind of thing. But that's more of a consumer or guest mindset, where if it's not being served to you, then you're I'm out of here. But the switch to a hosting mindset, or being a helpful guest, a helpful mini host kind of mindset, also a creator mindset, is one where maybe the party vibe isn't that great, so then you think, how can I make it better? How can I improve on this? How can I help co-create this night so that the vibes improve, and also improve in the way that I want them to improve, right? How can I add my own ingredient that makes this a nicer time for me? And when people don't do that, as a host, if an event goes badly, no one shows up, or they're not psyched, or the energy is really down, you take that on yourself. And if you don't have enough helpers, it can be almost traumatic to put a lot of energy and effort into an event, and then people are oh, it sucked, on one hand, it's if you host a lot, you can soften some of that blow by being known as someone who hosts a lot of great parties. Maybe one of them wasn't that good, but even then, it can just feel really disappointing and not worth it. And you often lose money. You don't even necessarily make money. Oftentimes you lose money because you're just offering a space for people to come together. And so yeah, just thinking about how usually in any scene the guest to host ratio is 25-1 or something, and the hosts don't get, if a party goes really well, then the host gets a lot of social credit, right? And that is great, but it just is high variability. And I think hosting burnout is very real, and it can just burn you out for a long time. And then it's do I have the energy to deal with this again? It's stressful. It's a lot of effort to gather and plan and get people together and put something on. And so I think my point is just that there can be a lot more awareness on most people's part of how to give a lot of positive feedback. It kind of reminds me of the whole, you need 5 good interactions for one bad one, for that's for marriage. But for a host, it's you really need a lot of positive encouragement to fend off the guests who have a bad time. And being silent about it is also not great, because then it just lends more gravity to like the negative comments that come out. I don't know, it might just like me, but for me, when I host, like, I'm pretty critical of myself, and so if it feels awkward or it's not a good time, then it makes it hard to want to host more. And so yeah, do I have more to say on this topic? I think the other side of this is like I'm also very introverted, and sometimes I know that I don't have capacity to like co-create a night. I just want to like go hang out or something. And in that case, like, even then there's sort of a spectrum of like, can you at least add good energy to this party? If like you're in a really shitty mood, like, should you go or should you not? Maybe you know that even if you're in a bad mood, you go and you tend to be lifted up by others, and that's good too. But like, I know that when I'm in a bad mood and wanting to be alone, I just really want to be alone. Like, I don't want to do anything, and so like knowing that for myself means I don't go to parties if I know I'm just going to like bring the vibe down. So there is like the other side of that, but yeah, it's just like I'm noticing in myself like, wow, like I had such a hosting arc and it really went down. And I think it went down because I had a few bad hosting experiences. And like, how do we soften that blow for hosts so that, like, I think a scene needs a lot of people who are down to host and make things happen. Otherwise, like, it dies. And so, yeah, like, how can we encourage people to gather and get together, and how can we make it easy to do so? And also, how can we like awaken in people this mindset shift where you are actively creating the gatherings that you are attending? Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I am about to embark on a bunch of travel this month, so I will be continuing my vlog, and you'll see me in different contexts, different bubbles. So see you guys.